This is what I'm going to read out to you because it's not a like.
Oh, it's not like
thing.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's a mental exercise.
Good.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Makes for a better podcast.
I agree.
Okay. Let's just all taking a test.
So the cube test was developed by a Japanese psychologist who wanted people to be able to gain quick insight into their lives and personality. What I'm going to have you guys do is like clear your mind. And then I'm going to like have you close your eyes and visualize a few things.
Okay.
And as we go
Try
through...
Guys drama.
Try Guys are
it's
gone.
All done with that.
It's just you. Find your happy place after all of that drama. So yeah, I'm going to have you guys go through. I've created a little chart for Adam and Ryan.
Ooh.
And I'm going to write down what you guys say so that we don't have to like try to remember it. We can just reference it.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So
I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to go along with it.
I love it. Okay. Yeah. That's the energy we love to see. Okay. So first, imagine you're in a desert. The desert is incredibly large, and sitting in the desert is a cube. This goes for the audience too. Okay.
Audience, send your answers in to our email.
Oh my god, I would love that. Let me psychoanalyze you. Okay, so you're in a desert. It's super large. There's a cube. How big is the cube? Where exactly is it? Is it buried in the sand or is it sitting on top of the sand? Right. And then what is it made of?
Basketball size.
Okay.
Right. Well, now it doesn't sound like an influence, but I was thinking the same. Yeah.
Interesting.
Kind of small, maybe a little bit bigger than basketball, maybe more like beach ball.
Beach ball? Okay.
Just slightly bigger than a basketball.
Slightly bigger than a basketball is what I'm going to write down.
I was trying to think like dimensions, and I was like, I'm not going to be able to think of what that is. I'm not a math person anymore. Like,
that's so fascinating.
I was looking around my apartment to be like, what's a good box?
Reference. Yeah. Okay. Where exactly is it in the desert? Like, do you see it like just amidst all the sand or anything like that?
I was thinking it would be floating. Is that not
floating?
A choice?
That's totally a choice.
Okay.
What do you think?
I was thinking just on top of the sand.
On top of the sand. Okay. So neither of you are buried.
So it's not buried. It's just
neither of you are buried. Okay.
I have a scene too, because you mentioned like where. Is that included?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the scene was there's a cactus next to it.
I love it. Okay.
Because we're gonna do it. Picturing like a diorama where you just see like, you're like your classic desert shot.
Yeah.
And there's a cactus, maybe like a tumbleweed in the background.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. A cube
that is slightly bigger than a basketball.
Kind of thinking like, when you see like video game render footage.
Yeah.
It's like that, where they have like the whole scene and then they have their block as reference point.
Mm-hmm. I like that. Okay, and so then Ryan, yours is floating. Like, how far above the sand would you say?
I would say like 2 or 3 feet.
Okay.
And then I was thinking more like Saharan desert, like it's just a lot of sand and then like some rocks.
Okay. And then what are your cubes made of?
Metal.
Okay.
Yeah, I was thinking more like stone, like in Minecraft, like quartz blocks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's what I was thinking. I don't actually know what quartz looks like in real life.
There's a bunch
besides like the crystals.
Yeah.
So I guess like a granite. But without imperfections, like just straight white.
Oh.
So not very much quartz block in Minecraft.
Is there a specific like color or like type of metal that you're thinking, Ryan?
You know what? The more I think about it, I'm thinking of the like mother boxes from Zack Snyder's The Justice League.
Amazing. Okay. Where your cube is, all right, back to picturing it. Picture your scenes. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
There is now a ladder. So the two things that you're going to think of, and then I'll ask you again, right, is how long is your ladder? Like how tall? Where is it in relation to your cube? Like, is it under it, on top of it, leaning up against it, like everything like that? Kind of picture that in your mind. picture it, and then we'll talk.
So the ladder just like appear, or was it there?
It's appearing.
It's appearing. Okay. Okay, I have my answer.
Okay. Do you have your answer, Ryan?
Sure.
Okay. All right, then let me hear him.
Okay, mine is the top of the cube comes off, i.e. a trapdoor, and the ladder is going down from within the cube. So
like you're climbing into the cube?
You climb into the cube down the ladder.
Okay. And how long is it?
I don't know, like 10 feet. More like taller than a human.
Okay. And Ryan.
Okay. I'm thinking that the it's like a step ladder. My favorite type of ladder is like off to the right on top of like a dune. I didn't like see it at first. I was like, oh look, there's a step ladder. That's weird.
Okay.
Like, oh, cube. Oh, there's a ladder too.
So it's like not touching the cube.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now that you can see the ladder, we're gonna move on. Mm-hmm. Think about your scene again, right? Okay. Don't answer these immediately. We'll get to it. Yep. A horse has now appeared in the desert.
Okay.
Okay. What does the horse look like to you? Is it freely roaming or is it tied up? And where is it in relation to your cube? Like, is it beside it? Is it far away from it? Is it taking shelter from it or with it, perhaps? Lots of different options.
So my horse is like a brown horse. I don't know, a normal horse. I don't know horses. My girlfriend knows horses, so she's gonna yell at me.
She does. I saw that on her Instagram, either story or post the other day, and it was really cute.
One of her family friends owns a horse, so she gets to go out and ride it and take care of it.
Very precious.
I don't know horse breeds though. I almost said horse brands. Unfortunately,
Mustang.
Yeah. So, brown horse. It's roaming freely. No saddle, or it's not tied up or anything. And I was envisioning it kind of cresting a sand dune off to the side. So not near. It's like I've got my image, cube, ladder going down, cactus to the side, kind of off, adjacent, over.
Okay.
Like, oh, and then a horse just came over the sand dune off to the side.
I like it. Okay, let's hear it, Ryan.
I basically had the same thing as Adam. It's a brown horse with like slightly less, like lighter brown hair for the mane, and like there's a dune behind the cube, and it just comes like over and down the cube. Yeah.
Kind of coming towards your cube, but not from far away.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was kind of not necessarily coming towards the cube, but not going away from it. Like it's coming just into the scene, and the scene contains the cube.
I see. Okay.
But it's not like the horse isn't like, oh, what's that cube?
Yeah.
It's just kind of doing its thing, and it's also in the same movie shot as the cube is.
Fair. Alrighty. Okay. So now we're doing the same thing. Flowers. Where are they in your desert vision? Are they close to everything? Are they far away? How many flowers are there? And where are they in relation to your cube? Which I guess is also part of the close or far away thing.
Yep, got it.
Okay. Do you have it, Ryan?
Sure.
Sure is so not comforting.
So I was already thinking that the cactus had flowers on it.
Oh, okay.
But I'm so now thinking about additional flowers. So the flowers are around the cube, basically.
Around the cube. Okay.
Kind of like a 5-foot radius around it. Mm-hmm. So the cube is just surrounded by flowers, but in like a not perfect circle, but basically a circle.
How many would you say there are? Like, is it a lot? You don't have to give me an exact number.
Yeah, like a good amount.
Okay.
Like if you went to a field and there were flowers in the field and you just dug it up and put
it around a cube.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, but not the dirt parts, just like the grass and flowers.
Right.
Gotcha.
Okay. I love that. Okay, Ryan, what's up?
Okay.
Tell me about your flowers.
So I look to the left. I see a rock.
Okay.
And there's like a little bit of shade, and there's like 3 little like green flowers.
Oh, okay. And your rock was like about how far from your cube?
Let's say like 10 feet.
And this is the rock that was like initially in it at the beginning?
Yeah.
Okay. And now there's a storm. Oh no.
Okay. Storm.
Is it near or far away? Like, is it right over you, or is it like in the distance? Is it affecting your horse, your flowers, or your cube? Is it windy and raining? Is it dark and cloudy? How is the storm affecting your vision?
So I'm kind of sticking with like what pops in my mind first.
I love it. Yeah.
Because then it was kind of getting influenced as you added descriptors.
Fair, sorry.
But what popped in my mind first was storm off in the distance.
Okay.
So kind of down the horizon, you can see building storm clouds, but it's not like thundering or lightning or anything like that. But it's like an obvious storm approaching.
Just like dark clouds coming.
Yeah.
Okay.
But so it's not affecting anything in the scene because it's not there yet.
Okay. And Ryan?
I swear the same thing. I had said it was like a storm off in the distance, but I'm gonna throw in thunder because I think that's cool. Like, you know, when it's like fine where you are, but you see like thunder off in the distance.
Yeah.
It's sort of neat.
I like it.
And you don't have to deal with the rain too.
Alrighty. That is the cube test. It's done. Just kidding.
Okay, I have one additional
just tell you what it all means. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I have one additional fact. If you get in my cube and go down the ladder to the bottom, you actually come out of the top of the cube.
Oh.
It's an infinite loop cube.
It's an infinite loop cube. Unrelated, I'm sure, to the personality test, but I felt like that was an important fact.
I actually want to ask you guys one more question about your
Okay.
cubes themselves. Do they have any like texture to them? I know that like you said like okay, well like mother box, I can picture that pretty well. And then just for the granite one, is it like a little rough or is it really smooth?
No, really smooth. Like
really smooth.
It's like too perfect for reality. Like
Ryan,
I'm really just picturing like an random, like in a video game, like Unity, where you're building your scene and you just take your basic default cube and plop it into like your rendered desert scene.
Yeah. And Ryan, how smooth would you describe the mother box as?
I would say it's a little bumpy. I'm really thinking the mother box. Yeah, another fun fact about my cube is if you drop it in a pool and you get a charge from the Flash, you may be able to resurrect Superman.
Okay, that's really interesting. That's actually...
That actually changes the whole thing.
I mean, I gotta recalibrate here.
Pull, you know, like teachers had like the map thing to pull down.
You,
like, pull down the map, and you're like,
pulling a few more down.
Oh my god!
There's more red string.
I always loved those in history class because, like, I was like, fun. Oh my god,
it's
something new happened, and it really happened like 1,000 years ago.
You can't see through either of your cubes, right?
No, yeah.
And the mother box is darker, right? Like it's darker metal.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like what these descriptions mean about your personality and everything like that. The cube represents you. The size of the cube is your ego. So I would say both of you have like relatively like small or like manageable.
Pretty small.
Yeah. So it being smooth and or like soft is kind-hearted and passionate, but can sometimes be a pushover. I don't know if you guys. I don't know if I would describe either of you as pushovers, but I agree with kind-hearted and passionate. And then the dark, like lighter dark, is how heavy you feel with burdens. So it being darker for Ryan, I assume means like heavier, and lighter for Adam, I assume means lighter, which I find interesting because I would flip that.
Yeah,
if I were to assign one of those to either of you. Basically, like how you think about the cube is how you think about yourself. If it's strong in its walls, then you feel strong in yourself. The distance between you and the cube reflects your understanding about yourself. If it's far away, then it means you don't feel close to your inner self. Okay, the ladder represents your goals. The length of the ladder shows the scale of your goals. The shorter the ladder, the like more achievable. Or more you view it as achievable, rather. So 10 feet, and like I guess step ladder. Step ladders can be any size because I have
6
like
foot. We'll go 6 foot.
6 foot. Yeah, I have like a 6 foot one, and I know there's also like 2 feet ones. So like I think that depends.
The 6 foot ones are very good for changing lights.
They're also just really helpful in general when you're short. Which is my life. My mom and I have one in our kitchen because we can't reach the top shelves. Anyway,
I like the idea now that the cube is me, because that means the going into the cube down the ladder is like an existential crisis.
Yes. So I was about to go into that.
Okay.
I have the power to resurrect Superman.
The distance.
You'll be the director of the next Superman movie.
Ooh, give us the cami cut. The distance of the ladder with the cube determines the focus and effort that you are currently investing onto your goals. So
I don't know about that one.
Ryan is like close to it, but Adam is like internally investing everything.
I don't think I would describe me as that at all.
Oh my god. If it's close, you're making all efforts to achieve and assist your goals. If it's leaning on your cube, you may have a big goal to achieve. If your ladder is over, then would you say it was off to the side? So it doesn't really matter. Okay. The horse represents your ideal partner. If your horse looked strong and hardworking, you didn't really describe how hardworking your horse looked.
Looked like a horse.
Good horse.
So yeah, I guess strong and hardworking. I mean, it didn't look sickly, so
That's
it looked like a horse.
Oh lordy. Alrighty. If your horse was close to your cube, then you are someone who needs a strong connection and like a constant connection. If your horse was in the distance, you probably feel like still secure in slightly detached relationships. It just says it's bad if it's tied up. Essentially. It just says like
or it could be kinky.
Ooh. Basically it says that like if your horse is tied up, then you or your partner may be feeling trapped or stuck. All right, flowers. The number of flowers determines your connections and how close you are to them. A bunch of flowers suggests you have a close group of friends you really rely on. A row or more of flowers suggests that you have some levels of connections. And the locations are determine how close you are with your social groups. Yeah. It also says the color may impact how you feel towards your peers, but it doesn't say anything about what the colors mean. So
helpful.
Yeah.
Fallen flowers were yellow.
I said green.
You said green.
Yeah, you said green.
I was more thinking like weeds because there's not that many flowers in the desert.
Yeah, I was as well. I wasn't thinking like beautiful, pretty, unique daffodils or whatever. It was just like, I don't know, basic flower.
And then the storm represents the obstacles in your life. If it's close, then you're expecting or experiencing some emotional, mental, or hard situations. But if it's in the distance, then you may have overcome challenges and continue towards victory. Seeing the storm pass through suggests that you can handle things well. Yeah. And talks more about if it's like right over you, which isn't applicable. But yeah, that's the cube test.
Heck yeah.
I like it.